part 2 of making a content warning mod for the Steam Workshop. If you followed along with my last video, you should have something like this, and you should have a good idea of what's going on here, but right here, we kind of start off initializing plugin. We get basic information about the name. So one thing I didn't mention is that this needs to be unique, so it's recommended that you put like your username, dot, and then the name of the mod, because if there's another low gravity mod published on the workshop, there's going to be some issues. So in order to have a setting actually appear in game, you need to create another class down here. We need to give it this little identifier thing here. So instead of content warning plugin, it's going to be content warning setting. And then you can call the class whatever you want, but it should be helpful. So for this mod, we're going to call it the gravity slider. So it needs to implement float setting and then iExpose setting. No matter what, you need iExpose setting. However, this can change. You could also have bool setting, and I think int setting is another one. So depending on what you're doing, if you want to have like a checkbox, so like enabling or disabling gravity, then you could have a bool option for that. So we're extending float setting, which requires that you have implemented a few methods within this class. So you should have something like this. You have an apply value function, no matter what, if you're using float setting or bool setting, either way you should have apply value, and this is whatever you have after this arrow is going to run every single time the setting is changed in game. So we're going to have it just log out something. The variable value points to the actual value of the slider. The next method is the get default value. This is what the slider is going to be at when you first run the mod, and just the general default value. We're just going to use 100. And then for get min max value, this here is going to be the lower part of your settings, so you could set the gravity to 0 if you wanted to, and then this is going to be the higher part, so you could set it to 500. And the setting can't exceed that, so you can't do like -10 or 600. Another thing too is if you're getting a weird error with this or something like this, you actually need to go in and update your C# properties project source file, and you could open that in something else. And it looks like a bunch of nothing. There's a lot of crazy stuff happening, but you want to include this tag right here underneath property group, and that should update within here to get that fixed. But I think if you're using Visual Studio 2023 or higher, you shouldn't have to worry about that. Next is get setting category. Most of the time you're going to want to assign this to setting category.mods, and this puts it in the mods category in the settings UI. You could set this to like video, I think, or graphics, depending on what you're doing, but for most of this you're just going to want to do mods. And then get display name is just going to be the name of the setting as it appears to like the left of the slider. So this should be fine. In order to actually access the slider value and use it and make it apply changes to the gravity, we need to go up here, reference it just like that. Again, the syntax is really weird, however, you just need to make sure that you're using C# version 9.0 or higher. You need to get the value of the setting. So again, this is a weird syntax thing. I honestly don't understand it, but it's how they do it in the example plugin, and it seems to work fine. I think you could do it without the question marks, but I honestly wouldn't mess with it. So you're creating G slider here, and that references the values from your slider that you have. And if you wanted to, you could access settings that already exist within the game. So I don't know if you want to access like video or audio settings for whatever reason, you can. And then you need to actually make this assign it to the value. So you just have to reference this variable here and then dot value. In order to build this, you just press Control B and then it will build. You could go and then open this, and then in your bin debug folder it should save your DLL as the name of your project, which is lowgravity.dll. It's like last time, in order to test out your mod, you have to create a plugins folder in your content warning folder. Go to plugins and then create a new folder for your mod. And then you put your DLL in there. Here in content warning, if you look at mod manager, you should see your new program. If you change the version, it should reflect that. And then if you go to options and mods, you should see your setting here, and if you have other mods, they'll also appear here. Alright, so now we're here, and if you go to settings, gravity mount is normal, 100% set it to 0. You have your super low gravity, and then if you set it to max, you fly through the floor, crazy stuff happens.